Let's continue with the poetry, A Thing of Beauty. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Forever is never ending, permanent. Anything that you see beautiful, it's going to bring joy to your heart permanently. Forever means never ending. It is going to be permanent with you. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness. Loveliness. Anything beautiful is lovely. When you start appreciating it, the loveliness increases. You just take a rose in your hand. You just say the rose is beautiful, and as you keep admiring the beautiful flower, it fills you with happiness. It fills you with loveliness. So when you start admiring the beauty, the loveliness increases. But it will never pass into nothingness. Nothingness means a thing of no value. Anything that is beautiful has lot of value because it gives you happiness, and nothing is to be less estimated than happiness. For a man to lead a beautiful life, a peaceful life, this happiness is very, very essential. But will keep a bower quiet for us. Now, it will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us. What is a bower? Bower is nothing but a cool, pleasant place. So this beautiful nature, a thing of beauty, it will give us a cool, beautiful place where we can rest, where we can enjoy the serenity of nature, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. So what is this beauty going to give us? It's going to give us a cool, pleasant place where we can sleep, where we can take rest. When we are filled with happiness, we are sure to lead a peaceful life. And when we are at peace, we can sleep peacefully. So that is what here. And a sleep full of sweet dreams. When you are sleeping with so much of peace, definitely you are sure to have sweet dreams. And health. Happiness at heart will keep you fit. You will be very, very healthy. And quiet breathing. Quiet breathing means peaceful sleep. So, a thing of beauty is joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. So, the beauty which brings joy to your mind, it will not take you to a place where you don't enjoy anything, but it will take you a place where it is so cool and peaceful, where you can rest happily, where you can sleep peacefully, and where you can enjoy sweet dreams. Therefore, on every morrow, morrow means every day. Are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth? So, when we are happy, when we are so peaceful, what is that we are doing? So, therefore, on every morrow, every day, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth? So, when we are happy, how we are happy? Because we admire the beauty of nature. And how we can continue to just admire the beauty of nature? By living along with nature, by not harming nature, by taking as it is that we get from nature. So, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth? So, how can we bind us to earth? We have to take as it is what is available in nature. In that way, we can bind us. Are we wreathing, binding us ourselves, a flowery band? Wreath here means you would have seen a wreath being kept when somebody passes away, a round flower arrangement, that is what you mean as wreath. Now, as all the flowers are bound together in this particular wreath, we have to bind ourselves with this earth, and only then we can live at peace. Therefore, on every morrow, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth? We have to bind ourselves to this earth, we have to bind ourselves to this nature, and we have to lead a life along with the nature. Spite of despondence. Spite means in spite. Spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways. In spite of despondence. Despondence is nothing but the disappointment that we have. It's not that always our life is happy. We do get lot of disappointments, dejection, and we'll feel so sad. But what once again rises your spirit? It is the beauty that you see around you. That brings happiness to you once again. In spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth, inhuman qualities, there are people who are selfish. There are people who are self-centered, inhuman. They don't care about the fellow beings. Dearth is nothing but the lack of feeling they have for others. Inhuman dearth, the lack of feeling one has for the fellow being. Of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways. Of noble natures, natures here means the qualities. Noble qualities. There are people who are inhuman, but still we have to develop the noble qualities in us, and this noble qualities, what will happen? Will bring happiness in our mind. Therefore, on every morrow, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, in spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways. Gloomy days, what do you mean by gloomy days? The time which brings sadness, but we have to overcome all those things. Sad period, sad time, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways. Over-darkened ways, the evil things that are sure to happen to us, or the evil things that are waiting to happen to the people. But what we should do? We should try to eliminate all these things. We should try to bring in beauty through the nature. We have to absorb it and bring happiness. There might be several times when we do face lot of problems, lot of dejection, lot of negative feeling through others, but all these things has to be eliminated from us, and we have to see to it that we enjoy the beauty, and through that we take in happiness into our heart. Therefore, on every morrow, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth? We have to bind us to nature. We have to bind us to earth. Spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth, of the noble natures of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways. Made for our searching, yes, in spite of fall, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such are daffodils. Made for our searching, yes, we do search for the beauty, search for the happiness that will come to our mind through the admiration of the beauty which is present in this world. Made for our searching, yes, in spite of fall, some shape of beauty moves away the pall. What do you mean by pall? Pall is nothing but covering. Some shape of beauty. What is that some shape of beauty? Moves away the pall. The beauty, any form of beauty that comes, moves away, removes. Made for our searching. So, human beings, they keep searching for happiness, and that happiness is sought through the beauty of nature. In spite of all, some shape of beauty removes away the pall, the unhappiness, the covering that is there on our heart, on our thought that brings unhappiness. It removes it from our dark spirits. So, when all the unwanted things are removed, our dark spirits are also removed. Dark spirits is nothing but the sadness. That is there in our heart, and it gets removed. How? You admire nature. You look at the sun. You look at the moon. You look at trees old and young. You look at the sprouting a shady boon. When you look at the rising sun, it brings happiness. When you look at the full moon, it brings happiness and serenity in our mind. When you see trees old and young, you cannot demarcate that this tree is old and this tree is young, because all trees, through the blossoms, it gives happiness to our heart. Sprouting a shady boon, the tree's branches spread over. The flowers are there in all the branches. It has sprouted in the branches, and it gives so much of shade. It protects us from heat. It protects us from torrential rain. You can go and stand under the shade of the tree to protect you from heat. Sprouting a shady boon. For simple sheep, here, simple sheep, we have to go to the myth. Here, sheep refers to mankind. It is said that Christ, as a shepherd, came to this world to take care of the sheep. Here, sheep is mankind. He has come to the earth to take care of the mankind, to take away the sufferings of human beings. That is what the poet means in this particular line. For simple sheep, and such are daffodils. Daffodils are beautiful flowers. When you look at those daffodils bloomed totally, it gives you so much of happiness. Made for our searching, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon, for simple sheep, and such are daffodils. With a green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. Gainst the hot season the mid-forest brake, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. With a green world they live in, and clear rills. Rills are nothing but small stream What is this green world? The world covered with trees and plants, and the small stream, the clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. So these small rills, small streams which flows, it brings coolness to the place. That for themselves a cooling covert. Cooling covert is nothing but a cool shelter. Make against the hot season. Against means against. The hot season. When the season is very hot, the cool, the clear rills, the small streams, and then the cooling covert is nothing but the thick growth of trees which covers from either side of the road, which acts as a shelter for us against the hot season. It protects us against the hot season. The mid-forest brake, rich with a sprinkling affair of musk rose blooms. So in the thick forest cover, you can see the beautiful musk rose which has bloomed, and that fragrance, the fragrance of the musk roses, it also gives you a beauty to your heart. It gives you a serene feeling. Now, going to a place which is quiet, seeing the small stream flowing through, a thick growth of the trees which protects you against heat. Don't you think all these things will bring happiness? To live in that particular, such a place is going to be a boon for humankind, because we are all living in a place which is filled with hush and crowd of the city. But to live in a place which is quiet, which is serene, which is so cool, it's something a boon. And such too is the grandeur of the dooms. What is dooms? Dooms, doomsday. What is doomsday? When a person dies, as per Christianity, there will be a time when they have to narrate what had happened during their lifetime, and they will be judged what they have done during their lifetime, and whether they are to be sent to heaven or hell. And so the judgment that takes place on this particular day, doomsday, decides whether the person goes to a heaven or hell as per the belief of the people. So, And such too is the grandeur of the dooms, the people who does good things, the people who think about good things, the people who are always very happy, the people who spread happiness, all these things. Now, what they are going to do is, grandeur here means something you can say with so much of significance. So, it's going to be, they are going to be judged here, and that is also going to be based on how they have led their life. With the green world they live in and the clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season, the mid-forest break, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. So, if you are going to lead a happy life, if you are going to have a life of happiness, if you are going to spread happiness, everything is going to be happiness throughout. We have imagined for the mighty dead, the most powerful people who have faced their death. That is what we mean here by mighty death, the death of powerful persons. All lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring onto us from the heavens brink. Endless fountain is nothing but now we do have a belief like we say Amritam, and when we consume Amritam they say that a person will not die at all. So, that is the importance for a person who consumes Amritam. Here endless fountain of immortal drink. Immortal drink is nothing but the drink that makes a person live forever, permanently, which gives life for a person and no death. Pouring onto us from the heavens bring, pouring from the heaven, showering from the heaven, coming to us to the earth from heaven. How? It is all through the beauty that spreads. We have imagined for the mighty dead all lovely tales that we have heard or read. We have read about so many great people. We have read about the mighty people, how they have read. We have learnt about the mighty people who ruled over with so much of satisfaction, and that gave happiness to the people who lived in their own kingdom. We have learnt about the people who waged lot of wars, who brought death for so many people. So, we have heard all those things through the lovely tales. An endless fountain of immortal drink. Now, apart from all these things, still there is something which can bring beauty to our life. By drinking this immortal drink which comes from the endless fountain, which showers from the heaven on us, we can continue to lead a life of beauty. So, what the poet says here is, the beauty of nature is going to heal. Here Wordsworth also has quoted that in his particular poetry, that nature is a healing, nature heals the human beings. It has got that healing power. Likewise, Keats' work also has got healing power for mankind. We have to admire beauty. By admiring beauty, we can bring happiness. Happiness not for ourselves, that happiness will be spread to others as well. Let us see the figure of speech in the next class.